Today's episode of the Kiki is sponsored by the letter T for All Stars 2 trailer! Well, indeed, welcome back to the Kiki. My name is Chris. Says it if you knew that already. Welcome back. If you didn't know that, you need to subscribe because you got some fun in store ahead of you guys. Thank you so much for joining me again this time on the Kiki, where we get to spill some tea, throw a bit of shade, and we get to basically Kiki about everything RuPaul's Drag Race and RuPaul's Drag Race adjacent. Today we are going to be discussing what else but the trailer for All Stars 2, which has just dropped this week. I have made some notes, not that it really matters because I'm not wearing my glasses today because I've got like two massive softbox lights right next to me and I'm just going to get reflection all the time. So I don't know why I'm just going to be like all the time. But yes, we have 60 glorious seconds of footage from the eagerly anticipated All Stars 2. I am absolutely thrilled. Let's get some basic points out of the way first, shall we? So the new season is airing on August the 25th on a brand new day. It's on a Thursday night. Now, it's always been on a Monday night, right? Monday night's our logo. They've moved it to a Thursday. Why? I don't know. Just because they probably can. The trailer is jam-packed, and if you notice, it's actually a very different kind of trailer to the one they did for All Stars 1, which basically you could work out the top four, like that, because they showed so many different looks that it was like really obvious. But for this year's All Stars, they've really given away very little. There's very little looks on the runway. A lot of the looks are actually the same, which makes me think that they're all from like the first episode. So because we don't have that variety, do you know what I mean? So I think they're very much trying to keep like everything under wraps, try not to spoil it, because I do remember when All Stars 1 came out, everyone was just like, well, it's obvious what's going to happen. We can tell who goes home first, who goes home second, who goes home third, just from the trailer. So they're definitely trying to kind of keep a little bit of mystique and stuff. Not Mystique Summers Madison, she wasn't invited back. Also, the trailer revealed a lot of interesting stuff, such as the fact that they are not going to be competing in teams of two like they did in season 1. Thank God. And obviously the trailer revealed the massive, massive new twist where the top two girls have to lip sync for their legacy. And then the winner gets to decide who to kick off. This is some Survivor Hunger Games Battle Royale realness up in here. The only thing that the trailer didn't explain was whether the girls had to pick the eliminated queen from the bottom 2 or 3, or if they have their free pick, which if that is the case, oh my God, that's going to be like absolutely mental, because they could be able to kick off like their biggest competition regardless of how well they're doing. But I would imagine that for the sake of being fair, they would probably have to pick between like the bottom 2 girls. But as Tatiana said in the voiceover, which by the way, she got a really long voiceover. She wasn't featured much in the trailer, but she had a massive voiceover. She explained that factions are going to build, there's going to be alliances, there's going to be some rivalry, and they're going to have to think very carefully about who they get rid of. So strategy now is going to be a huge part of this race, which it hasn't really been before, other than maybe saving a dress for later. Strategy hasn't really had to come into that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the dynamic changes between the girls. So let's talk a little bit about the trailer. Obviously, there isn't a whole lot to talk about. It was just 60 seconds, but it crammed in a chunk of footage. So we will see what we can pick apart. Let's get the last little remnants of chicken off the bone, because we're just so ravenously hungry. Honestly, it's like, this is what Reddit does to you guys. Like the Drag Race Reddit, if you haven't been on it, oh my God, you just pick apart, just like everything all the time. So some of the queens who aren't seen much are Fifi and Coco. You don't really see them a whole lot. You don't see a lot of Roxy. You also don't see much of Tatiana, but she gets a really big voiceover. So it's very difficult still to kind of work out if any of those are like the first ones to go. But as I say, they're not featured heavily. As I might have mentioned before, but I'm not 100% sure because I'm a little bit too excited to kind of remember what I said 2 minutes ago. I think most of these looks are from episode 1, just because there's not much variety. Apart from what I think is from a later episode is Alyssa, her look in the yellow dress, and then also Alaska's like blue dress. I think that might be from a later episode because spoiler alert, this is spoiler. There is a rumour that the first episode, the challenge, is a talent show. And when you look at a lot of the things that are happening in the episode, if you keep that in mind, you can kind of piece together that basically the whole trailer is one big talent show. You've got like Katya doing her gymnast stuff, you've got Ginger singing, there was Tatiana doing like a lip sync kind of thing, like a burlesque style. So I think that was that. And when you pair up some of the other footage, which I think is from Untucked, but I think they're doing Untucked in the workroom, they seem to be wearing the same outfits. So you'd imagine that they're wearing that on the runway, they haven't asked them to change, which then makes you think like Alyssa's red sparkly dress, if she hasn't changed into the yellow one, it must maybe mean that she gets through from the first week? Maybe. I don't know. As I say, just a massive rumour, but maybe slightly spoilerish. I don't know. But I've called spoiler alert, so don't come for me, darling. Also, we just have to have a second for Detox's hair and eyebrows. I'm not sure if I love it or hate it. What do you guys think? Like sort of neon highlighter yellow eyebrows with hair, kind of bowl cut, kind of. I don't know if it's like really, really smart or just absolutely hideous. Maybe that's just what avant-garde is. Maybe. Also, something else that I noticed was Alaska's entry look. She's wearing this sort of like black, I'm assuming bin bag, with a bow on it. But then later on in the trailer, she's holding, you know those little theatre binoculars? She's holding those when she says like, let's get all started! And for the most part, that could have been a throwaway comment, except for the fact that she's actually stood at the front of the room where RuPaul normally stands. And I'm starting to think, right, okay, so she's in her entry outfit because we've seen her walk in. She's holding some kind of funny glasses, binoculars, and she stood where RuPaul has stood. Am I the only one thinking that maybe the very first challenge is the reading challenge, where all the queens have to read each other? I know it's like crazy early because normally they only have about like 6 or 7 of them read and there'd be like, what, 10? But I can't think of any other reason why Alaska would be walking in with theatre binoculars, so I'm just going to put it out there to say this is what I think is going to happen. I think the first mini challenge is going to be a reading challenge, and I think the interesting glasses are going to be theatre binoculars. Said it, let's see if it comes true. Also, I believe I read somewhere that there is going to also be a snatch game this year, so that's really exciting, but obviously there was nothing about that in the trailer. Basically, as I said, I think all of this is just from the first episode, so it's very difficult to kind of pull anything out of it. It's like trying to get blood out of a stone, or, you know, high fashion out of Magnolia Crawford. Also, the bit that intrigued me a lot was Tatiana kind of looking a bit woeful in front of the mirror, and at first I thought, gosh, that looks a little bit like an elimination, but we're seeing it from kind of behind the mirror, and they don't really do that often. If at all, when it comes to elimination, they usually do it from inside the workroom. And I was like, I don't really get it, like, because the lights are a bit low, and I was like, I'm not really sure what's happening. And then I went onto the Drag Race Reddit, and someone came up with a very good theory, which I think could be something. And basically, they were wondering if this was actually her, maybe sort of part of the voting procedure to get rid of a queen, like maybe, you know, you have to write it on the mirror. So that was the only other thing, because I thought, surely they wouldn't show an elimination, like, surely they wouldn't show an elimination in the trailer. So what is she doing? Unless, maybe, because obviously we said Untucked was, I think Untucked is going to be in the workroom. Maybe she's just like touching up her makeup, like preparing for a lip sync or something. I don't know. So, I don't know, but it was intriguing. What are your thoughts on that? Because I don't really know. So yeah, unfortunately, that's basically all I could really get out of the trailer to kind of, that was interesting enough without kind of talking about, you know, oh, look, Alyssa's wearing a yellow bow in her hair. So it's now kind of like, I'm passing it over to you, because obviously they've told us some really good information about the main changes of the show, but they haven't given us like much about what goes on in the show. So if you have seen anything in the trailer that I have missed, let me know in the comments below. Let's get to chatting, let's get to kikiing, let's get the discussion started, let's see what we can work out, because I know you guys, because we've known each other for long enough now, I know you guys can work out the interesting things, you can piece the whole puzzle together, you are like little Nancy Drews. So let me know, drop me a comment below. Also, even if you haven't spotted anything, let me know, drop me in the comments kind of what you're looking forward to. What do you think about the twist? You know, the fact that the girls have to kick each other off. Are you excited about this, or do you think it's going to add a new dynamic that you're not going to like? So yes, drop me a comment. Also, if you want to see all updates, make sure you click the subscribe button down there. And if you like this video, please drop it a thumbs up. To continue the conversation though, you can follow me on social media. I have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for Chris Says It. You should find me. But until next time, guys, so maybe when the show starts, I don't know, there might be some more information. Until the next time I see you, be good, be safe, keep out of trouble, stay fierce, stay fabulous, and I will see you guys later. Take care, bye!